Trying to fix this lighting. Good evening, everyone. How are you? I know this is not my normal night, which is on normally on Thursday, but I am here to keep my commitment to my audience and my friends and followers, and more importantly, to myself. Hope you've had a great day. Hope it's hump day. I left my glasses upstairs. Oh my goodness. It's hump day. Means we are through the middle of the week. Thank goodness. So while we're giving people opportunity to join and come on, I'm going to fix myself. I got a new plant. Peace lily. They actually bring certain type of energies into your home as well as into your environment that makes everything better. So, yeah, so that's one thing that I have learned. Plants bring energy and other positive things into your home. So I'm going to get started, and people can join as they get a chance, an opportunity to. Again, I know this is not my normal night, and I tried to send the message about that as much as I could, but I have a previously scheduled engagement that conflicts with my normal night, and I must keep both. So, as you can hear, I am still a little raspy, dealing with sinus and allergies, etc., but I'm going to take a sip of water in my new Let's Get Hot mug, which will be available for you also very soon. So I am Tara Nicole, here to empower, ignite, and uplift. And tonight we are going to talk about, we're going to get hot, honest, open, and transparent about the 3 Ps. But how do you like my shirt? Hustle, grind, repeat. So yeah, that's something that we have to do every day in our life, as an entrepreneur, every day as a mother, father, parent, sibling, sister, brother, just every day. I'm sorry. Okay. According to whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, whatever goal you're trying to, obstacle you're trying to tackle, goal you're trying to reach, you got to hustle, grind, repeat. And I'm going to start off with, I give honor to God, who's the head of my life. I thank him for everything he's done for me, everything that he's doing for me, because with him, everything is possible. All things are possible. And no matter what I may feel, I know that feelings change, but he remains the same. And that is why it's important to, guess what? Yes, stay focused, stay the course. Because, everything will work out in his perfect timing, not my perfect timing. And he knows the plans he has for me, and they are to prosper me and to bring me hope in a good future, not to hurt or harm me. And I have to trust the process, and I trust him because I know him for myself, and I have known him to do nothing but come through every single time. So tonight, I'm going to talk about the 3 Ps. And again, as I said previously in my other broadcasts, I respect everybody's, opinion. I respect your beliefs, but I believe in God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. He is the creator of the universe. So yes, I say universe, God, because he is the creator of everything. But, everyone's perspective or thoughts is respected. Those are just mine, and I won't, change those because I know him for myself and I know how good he is. So back to the topic at hand, the 3 Ps: perspective, perception, and projection. So, in thinking about, the different things that I have encountered, and that I've gone through and overcome, I was, and I reflect on myself first. I mean, other people, but then you have to go inward, as we've been sharing and talking about on the broadcast as well, that you have to go, within. At some point, you go in and look at yourself and say, okay, what can I do differently? What could I have done differently? And even if it's only the fact that you come to the conclusion that what you could have done differently is leave sooner, stop sooner, change your mindset, change your thought process, understanding that, you can change the strategy, but not the goal. You can change your approach, just what can you do differently? What could you have done differently? Not waste time in certain places or on certain people and certain things. And, the, I guess the upside to feeling like you wasted time, the upside to that is it's really not a waste of time, because in everything that you do, you learn a lesson. In everything that you do, you learn something about yourself, and you learn something about other people, and you also may rediscover some things about yourself, which is awesome. So, time is never wasted, so to speak, but you don't want to spend too much time in the wrong place. So tonight, 3 P's. Perspective, perception, and projection. And perspective simply means a particular attitude towards something. How do you feel about it? Like, people say, well, in my opinion, that's their perspective. Perception, the way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something. Where I perceive that to be this, and a person's intentions may be totally different from what they gathered from that, but that is their perception. Projection, the unconscious transfer, the key word there is unconscious transfer of one's own desires or emotions to another. And if you're not, that one is very evident, but not evident in a lot of times, in a lot of cases, because people don't realize that they're projecting what they really feel or what they really want onto someone else, especially if they're not being honest about it. That's why it says unconscious, the unconscious transfer of one's own desires or emotions to another. And it could be something, what you say, it could be how you act, it could be what you do, and you don't realize that you're projecting onto someone else what you really want for yourself. And so when I was thinking about the 3 P's, it kind of came to me, and I pray about what topics or what subjects to speak on. And this is what came to me. And it still ties closely into and relates very well to the 3 P's. I mean, staying focused and staying the course. And the thing about it is, with perspective, perception, and projection, you have to be conscious of those things for yourself and not carry someone else's perspective of you, someone else's perception of you, or allow them to project what they want onto you if it's not what you want. So you have to be careful that you're also putting out the right things that you want people to perceive about you, to have an attitude, certain attitude about you for, and how you want them to, see you with, like what you're projecting, which ultimately affects a person's perspective and their perception. And with that, also, I would like to say, sometimes we get into situations, be it relationships, partnerships, friendships, things with business, personal, whatever the case may be. And we are who we are, but we listen to conversations, we listen to people talking, and, we sometimes get caught up in wanting to prove our point or wanting to show who we really are, when you really, you have to just be yourself. And sometimes that's easier said than done, especially if we're confident about something and we know we can do it. We want to show it. We want you to be able to pick up on who we are. But sometimes that still can be misinterpreted because those people have their own perspective, perception, and projections. So tying that into staying focused and staying the course simply means, you have to, whatever your attitude is about something, or say your goal or your business or your job or whatever it is, your relationships, whatever it is that you're doing, your perspective about that has to remain the same. It has to stay focused on what your particular goal is, because when you allow yourself to get too consumed or too caught up in wanting to know what somebody else's attitude about your goal is, or somebody else's attitude is about your whatever it is you're dealing with, your job, your business, your relationship, then their perspective will overtake your perspective, and then you'll find yourself in a mess, or you'll find yourself not really reaching your goal, or you'll find yourself starting over, you'll find yourself feeling stuck. So you can't let someone else's perspective change you or change your perspective about things that relate to you. And that also can happen when we, spend too much time trying to prove something, when you're trying really affects how they feel, because again, their perception is their reality. So that all ties into perception, ties into, how you relate to something. So you may be exposed to several things, and someone else may not, be it tangible things or things, abstract like emotions and feelings. So their perception of, say, for example, I'm a giver, I like helping, I like doing, it's just part of who I am. But someone who is not in the habit or the nature or in the familiar place of receiving, then their perception is they want something from me, or they're trying to do something to me, or trying to force me to do something, when actually that's just who you really are. So, but their perception is their reality. If you have always done what you wanted to do, if you're used to traveling, if you're used to going to certain places and doing certain things and being around certain people, that's your perception. If you've never struggled, or if you've never had challenges or obstacles, then you have no connection to someone else that they may be their perception. So, again, perception is reality. It's the way that someone relates to something, the way they understand it, and the key thing is how they interpret it. And while you don't want to spend too much of your time trying to get someone to interpret what you really mean, you want to set the tone, set the stage, and hopefully their perception, their reality will also become yours, but it will become yours through you remaining consistent, through you being diligent, through you, just staying focused and staying the course on what it is that you're wanting to do and having to do, not so much trying to convince them that you're doing what you say you want to do. Sorry. And also, projection. Projection is the unconscious transfer of one's own desires or emotions to another. So, we find this a lot in relationships. The projection of, well, you don't have to tolerate me, and I don't want to be tolerated. But really you saying, I don't want to tolerate you, or, you don't want, you saying, I don't want you to tolerate me, but that's what you really mean for yourself. Or, I want to travel, or, you a selfish person, and that may be true, but sometimes, or I want to be free. If you want to be free, be free. But that really is how you may feel, but you're not saying it that way. So you're projecting it off, our attitude, our behavior, how we treat people. That's all a projection of what we really feel or what we really want. So you have to understand that, you, first of all, have to know what you want. And whatever you're projecting out into the world is how they're going to perceive and receive you. And if you're not being your true, authentic self in that, you can be saying one thing, but what you're projecting out, your energy, your attitude, your mood, is saying something else. So you want to be careful about what you're projecting. You want to be careful about, what you are putting out. And sometimes you could be around certain people, or you could be around, it's, again, this is very evident and very common in relationships and in family. You could be around each other and you're like, why are they acting crazy like that? Or why they have such an attitude? Or why are they being so mean? Or what's wrong with her? What's wrong with him? And they'll put it on you or try to blame you for whatever their mood or attitude is. But really, they're mad with themselves. Really, they're upset with themselves. Really, they may be disappointed with themselves. They may be disappointed with their actions. Our life is a sum total of the decisions that we've made up until this point. And if we want something to change, then guess what? We have to know that we have to make a change in order for change to come. So, this may be a little weird. It may seem kind of like, that's not really a hot topic, but it is, because your perspective on your life, your goal, your vision, your plans, your mission, you cannot allow it to be tainted or changed based on someone else's perspective. Now, if you want your perspective to be received appropriately, that comes with you being consistent. That comes with you being in alignment. That comes with you staying the course. That comes with you being your true, authentic self with no apologies. That comes from you walking in your true, authentic self, not thinking about what someone else is thinking, not thinking about what they're going to say. Because we may feel as if we are projecting, this bubbly, everything's okay. But people who know you, they know you. And when they know you, they know that something's not right. Yeah, that's Tara, but that's not Tara. Or that's, yeah, she good, but something is still not right. Something's wrong, So you may feel like you're presenting one thing, but you're projecting another. Again, with perception, the way of regarding or understanding something. But key thing is interpretation. That's how people interpret things. That's why it's important you communicate. You want to get your point across, but I've learned that you also go back and say, so but what did you hear me say? So what do you think I'm saying? What did you hear me saying? And you perceive that to be what? So you want to make sure that they are hearing what you're hearing, because guess what? Oftentimes people are listening to respond, not to understand. Sometimes people are just waiting, or they want you to just be quiet, or, oh, you said the same thing over and over again. So you want to make sure that they're listening to you to understand and not to respond. And then as far as projections are concerned, again, what they put out, always mad, always angry, come around you, making you think it's you, always complaining about something that you do. But that is simply a projection, an unconscious transfer of how they really feel about themselves. They say misery loves company. Think about it. It does. So the more I complain, the more I whine, the more I'm a victim, the more somebody did something to me, the more, they would have, and she should have, and he should have, then the more I can project this thing about save me, help me, rescue me, when really you just got to get it together. Fix yourself. You can't fix other people. Realize who wants help and who doesn't. Be true to what you really want and don't want. Quit waiting for the other person to make a move or make a mistake or take action, because we good for let them do one more thing. If she does one more thing, if he does one more thing, just do this, then I'm going to do that. Well, really, don't wait for another thing. Just do it. Like you're projecting off what you really desire and really want unconsciously onto that other person. If they can't make you happy or aren't making you happy, which really happiness begins within yourself first, but they're not adding to your life, adding to your happiness, adding to your joy, not pushing you, not boosting you, not, supporting you, not correcting, but constructively criticizing you. But yes, depending on how close they are to you, correcting you mean, hey, T, that wasn't right. Hey, girl, I hear you and you my girl or you my dude, but guess what? That was a little harsh, or that was this way. But have you thought about it this way or thought about it that way? That's all about projection. Again, looking at things from another person's perspective. And oftentimes when I'm coaching or talking to friends or family or anyone, I say, well, have you look at it this way? Sometimes people are looking for, someone to co-sign their foolishness, or someone to be an amen corner for the foolishness, or just a thought they may not have ever even thought of. But you may be that person that provides another perspective, saying, have you looked at it this way? Have you thought about it that way? And if you have, great. And if you haven't, then hey, think about it this way. It's because, again, that person's perspective is their reality. If a person's never been one to receive or have love, they don't know what love is. They can't give you no more than what they've ever been given. They can't give you no more than what they've ever learned. Some people have only seen things demonstrated one way. Some people have never left a particular place. Some people have never gone beyond the United States. Some people never gone beyond their neighborhood. So that is their reality. Their perception is, this is the way it is. It's the way it's going to be. But, when you are staying focused and staying the course and in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, then you can come along and give them a different perspective. You can come along and let them know that, yes, that perception, that's your reality, but that's not the reality of the world. That's not the reality of life. That's just your reality, because that's the only way you've been able to interpret what living your dream is, or what living your dream isn't. What, setting goals. Have you ever really asked people what their goals are? What's your plan? I mean, we have to live day by day, and we go through it with grace. But some people don't even have a goal. Some people don't even have a plan. It's just, it don't take all that, just one day at a time. That's true. But you have to have expectations. You walk in a spirit of expectation, meaning you set goals. You have a plan. You have an idea about what you want to do moving forward. You just can't wake up every day and live life. Okay, this is it. Wake up tomorrow, repeat. No, what are you thinking about? What are your goals? What are your dreams? Do you have a passion? What are your gifts, your talents? They make room for you. They bring in the money. They bring in opportunity. They bring in, the connections that you need. Because yes, money answers all things, but money is not the be all end all. Because if it was, the people who have a plethora, a good amount of money, wouldn't be so miserable. They wouldn't be needing so much other help. So yes, money does add. Money does bring things into our lives, but it's not the be all. It doesn't make you wealthy. Wealthy is having all aspects of your life met and fulfilled. Excuse me. So, as I was saying, perspective, 3 P's: perspective, perception, and projection. The goal with that is to ultimately, you understand your perspective about your life, your goals, your dreams, your mission, your vision, your passion. Whatever it is that you have in front of you, what's your perspective? What's your take on it? If your heart's not in it, get out of it. Because if your heart's not in it, nothing else is going to be in it. You can pretend, you can act like, you can put on a facade as long as you want, but guess what? It doesn't happen that way. So you have to have the right perspective. It's not going to last. Facades fade. So what is your perspective? What is your take on what you want? Yes, it's great to get other people's opinions. Yes, it's great to, to seek divine counsel or godly counsel, wisdom, naturally from people who've done what you want to do or have made it or have gotten past the point where you are. But you cannot let what other people's opinion about you and what you want to do change your perspective of yourself. Because if you do, you'll be changing every day. You'll find yourself miserable. You'll find yourself unhappy. You'll find yourself in a place that is not you. And, eventually you'll come back around. But guess how much, you could have avoided had you just stuck to what your perspective is about what it is you desire. And also, with perception, you want to make sure people are interpreting, what you're doing or what you're saying or, what you're giving off the right way. But you also have to understand and not be too consumed with that, because guess what? Their perception is their reality. And one thing that we talk about when I'm like with my girls group, and I've learned that even with adults, if they haven't been exposed to certain things, their perception is going to be off anyway, because they haven't been exposed to life outside of their particular world. So perception is everything. But you have to understand that you can't let what their perception is about life or a certain way dictate or determine what life to be. Yes, it is what we interpret. It's our way of understanding. As it says, perception is the way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something. But guess what? If a person doesn't want to understand it, then they're going to interpret it only the way they want to. So you can exert yourself overly doing things to get them to understand something, and their interpretation will still be, oh, she doing too much. Oh, she must need me, or he must need me. Oh, well, they must be weak, or they must be this way or that way. Just some totally opposite of what it is you were trying to project, because their perception is their reality. And the key is you need to, but you would want to spend a little time really observing who are you allowing to have a front row seat in your life? Because if their perspectives aren't changing, if their perception isn't changing, then their projections are going to show that. They can be around you every day. They can talk to you every day, but how they treat you, how they interact with you, how they show up will let you know what they're really feeling. Because again, projection is simply the unconscious transfer of one's own desires or emotions to another. Hey, Kesia. So, you have to be careful what you're projecting, because we can internally, we say, I can handle this, I can do this, I can do that, or I'm built for this, I'm built for that. And guess what? You might be, and you probably can, but do you have to? Do you really want to? Are you supposed to? Like, is it worth your energy, effort, and time to be in that situation? Be it a job, a relationship, a partnership, a friendship. A lot of times we hold on to history, but it's not part of your destiny. And, if someone always has something negative to say, they always have a complaint, always telling you, well, you could have did this differently, you could have done that differently, before they can tell you, what was good about, whatever it is you're presenting. They're projecting an energy that you don't want, that you don't need, and definitely you don't desire. Same thing for yourself. You don't have to be in anything that you don't want to be. And I know that sounds like easier said than done. And oftentimes, well, not often, but it is. But guess what? Nothing in life is really complicated. We, human beings, flesh, blood, natural people, we make it complicated. So, and it becomes complicated because we'll continue to, persist, to be consistent or overly persistent with, consistently being persistent, basically, to demonstrate something that doesn't have to be demonstrated or shown to certain people. Everyone doesn't deserve your time. Everyone doesn't deserve, a lot of your time. Everyone doesn't deserve to receive what you have to offer, because everyone doesn't want what you have to offer, number one, but everyone doesn't want to do what it takes to get to the next level. Okay, Kesey, I read that, and I may be having them too, but I don't know. I'm just going on with the flow. Hopefully the replay will have everything on there, but everyone doesn't want what you want. And you should not spend a lot of time trying to make them want it, because some people love their life the way it is because of their perspective and their perception. They're going to project that. And so when people don't decide, that's a decision. When people don't act, that's action. When people don't show up, that's showing up. So you want to make sure that you understand that. So don't let what other people do, say, think, or demonstrate change your perspective, your perception, because you'll begin to project things that you don't want to. You'll begin to project something opposite of what you're trying to project, or you'll begin to project something that you really don't feel. So be honest with what you want and where you want to go, what you want to do. Surround yourself with people who have that same vision, who have that same mission, that same ideal, that same hustle, that same push, that same attitude. I don't care what it is. Even if it's about just being positive every day. If you spend a lot of your time, with people who aren't positive, you're going to find yourself not being positive. Or you're going to be extremely exhausted trying to remain positive with people who aren't positive, because they're projecting off on you what they really feel. No matter what they say, I believe in you, I'm going to do it. But what they really put off is their unconscious transfer of what they feel. If you are around people who don't talk about their goals or their dreams, it could be traveling. I want to travel more. But the more that they don't talk about traveling, or the more they give you a reason to think about why traveling is not important, or it doesn't take all that, or maybe when you retire, or maybe when you get to this point or that point, then guess what? You'll stop talking about traveling. Or I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a first generation millionaire, God-made millionaire. That may sound crazy to certain people, But the more you're around certain people who don't think that way or believe that way, I'm just using that because that's my desire, that's my goal. But if I'm constantly around people who don't think that way, think, oh, we just go to work, come home, and don't take all that, then you will stop talking about that because you'll go more internally with it as opposed to speaking it into the atmosphere and calling it into yourself. Because guess what? Their perception, their perspective has now become yours. And when that happens, you'll start acting like them. And you'll start projecting, unconsciously, you'll start projecting that same attitude, that same mood, that same motion. So if you're a mover and a shaker, then get around movers and shakers. You have to have balance in your life. Good evening. You have to, Carol, hey, Erica, you have to, be around people who are going to push you. Like if you're a person who loves to pray, people who only pray in a time of need or an emergency is not who you're going to need to be with when it says, I feel the need to pray. You're going to have to really be with people who believe in prayer on a regular basis. People who are going to say, send that text to that group, hey, we need to pray tonight. It may not even be nothing wrong. You may just want strength. You may just want to acknowledge God and give him thanks for what he's done in your life. So when you are walking in your true, authentic self, when you are walking, your calling, walking on your path, you're going to project that I'm walking on my path. And you're going to project, if you're positive, you're going to project that. That's an unconscious transfer of positivity, of, good vibes in the atmosphere. And then that's what you're going to attract. So again, your perspective is maintaining your attitude towards something, maintaining, it's just a particular attitude. So if people love drama, that's why we have so many reality shows. That's why we have so many, just TV is not even the same. I don't even watch it like I used to. But whatever a person's attitude is about something, I think about what's trending right now. I don't know all the details, but I mean, just based on his past history, Kanye West is on another rampage or something, and something with him and Trump and all this other stuff. I have no idea really the details of it, but from what I've seen, but that's his attitude about it. And people who have that same attitude, that's what he's going to attract. Or people who have an opposite attitude, he's attracting them as well, but they're putting out a different perspective about it. Because again, it's your particular attitude about something. So what's your perspective about your life? What's your perspective about your goal? What's your perspective about your dream? What's your perspective about your children, your family? What is your perspective on that? What's your take on that? Think about when we watch sports shows, when they're analyzing the game, or, when you're watching something. It depends on whatever you're focusing on. I'm just using sports, for example. It's a show called First Take. You watch that. That's their perspective about what these players did, why they won or lost the game, what they should do. It's their attitude about it. But make sure that you are not losing your attitude, your insight or your perspective or your particular attitude about what you want based on what somebody else is saying. The people who succeed every day, and succeeding every day means you get up no matter what, and you go through your routine, your rituals, whatever it is that sets the tone for your day. That's winning every day. That's succeeding every day. When you accomplish a task, when you pay off a bill, when you make an arrangement, whatever it is you're doing, that is succeeding every day. So don't let what other people think. Don't take all that, or who she thinks she is, who he thinks he is. Don't let what energy drainers and naysayers do affect your perspective about what it is that you're doing. Because if you do, guess what? You're not staying focused and you're not staying the course. Their perception clearly is how they interpret it. Really, all people are not going to understand you. All people are not going to receive you. All people are not going to interpret the things that you are putting out the way you want them to, because guess what? Their perception is their reality. That's why people, sometimes they don't have any regard for any other people, anyone else, if they're selfish in nature. And that attitude has been shaped by something they've been through prior to even meeting you. But if they don't want to change that, you can't change that. So don't let their perception, which is their reality, change yours. And a lot of our perceptions are changed based on our exposure to other things, our awareness, our knowledge, our involvement, and our networking. Otherwise, a person's perception is going to be limited to what they have done and what they're exposed to. And a lot of times they're afraid to go outside the box. So if they want to let their perception remain limited, you leave them there and you keep moving, because otherwise you're not focused and you're not staying the course. You don't want to be derailed. I mean, we can get back on track, but how much time would be lost? And, you know, God, He changed our mess into a message, and He performs miracles, and we'll still finish the course. But, you know, how much time could be saved or energy spent somewhere else if we let our perception and perspective stay intact? And then projection. If you stay true to what it is you want to do, what it is you believe, your core values, your dreams, you know, just how you feel. And feelings change, but that core part of you, you have to stay true to that, because what you put out is what people receive. And it's what they pick up on. And that's why it's important to be true to what you want and what you desire, because we have a lot of conversations in our head on a regular basis. Like, we talk to ourselves and what we want to say to the other person, and, you know, what we want them to know. It's oftentimes in our head, but how we act is put out there. Arguments, disagreements, just different things. Like, and it's not always negative, but it's just all about what you're projecting. So that's why it's important to be true to what you want, be true to what you believe in, because projection is the unconscious transfer of one's own desires onto another, or emotions onto another. So if you want to be in a world of bliss, I mean, we know things happen, but, you know, you want to remain blissful regardless of what's happening. You can't be with a person who doesn't want that. You can't be in a partnership with people who don't want that. You can't be in a job with people who don't want that. And bliss just simply means light, upbeat. You know, if somebody's always negative, always complaining, they're projecting off what they feel, and you're going to pick that up. People don't believe it, but spirits forget spirits. That's what they always say. You know, who is in your circle? Top 5 friends. Who are you? The smartest person? You need to change your circle. You don't have to leave those people, but you got to change that. How are you going to go up or level up if everyone is trying to get where you are? You got to be around people who are trying to be where you are. It's 3 levels in life. People who are where you were, you always want to help them. People who are on your level is good because they understand you. They understand where you are, what you're facing, what you're going through. But then you got to also that next level, the people who are higher, who have accomplished what you want to accomplish, who've done what you want to do, who have reached that goal financially, business-wise, marriage, friendships, whatever it is. They have to be a part of your life too. So if you remain with always wanting to help people, which we do, but you can't stay there, how are you going to grow? Because they're constantly pulling on you. People who are where you are, they good. But if you break out of that, oh, who she think she is? Who should he? Who think he? What? When you start being about it and no longer talking about it, then, I mean, their attitude is going to change. So, but then the people who have accomplished what you want to accomplish, who on that level up, they understand where you are. They understand your challenges. They understand your obstacles. They're going to give you insight. They're going to give you perspective and a different perception about how to get there. Because people say the struggle is real. And I'm going to quit saying that. Because yes, there are challenges, but I'm not going to give the struggle my energy. I'm going to give the solution my energy. So yes, it is real, but somebody has done what you're doing. I don't care what it is you're doing. If it's something great and excellent, it could be something that you never thought you'd go through. A divorce, a breakup, a loss, you know, someone passed away, grieving, whatever it is, moving, changing locations, changing jobs, switching careers. So this entails everything, you know, and we don't want to make like everything is always great, because life happens, things happen. But then everything's not always so bad. So quit letting people make you think that it's just so bad. It's so doom and gloom. No. Move, as I say, and we're working on with the group that we're building. Learn to maximize the moments in life. Move your life from being mundane to magnificent. And all that is entailed in and encompassed with the 3 P's: your perspective, your perception, and projection. So think about that, and we'll talk about it a little more on next week. Again, I had to switch nights because I have an important engagement that I must keep on tomorrow, but I also want to remain consistent and committed to what I say here at Tara Nicole, because I am here to empower, ignite, and uplift you. And in talking to you, I'm talking to me. Getting hot, honest, open, and transparent is more so about my transparency and my being able to relate to you. I don't know all of you, but with time and through broadcast and networking and communicating, you will get to know me. And if you join one of the groups, or if you get involved in some of the other things that are coming forth, then I will know you. But even if we don't know each other personally, you can know me through my spirit. You can know me through my message. You can know me through what I post, what I say, and through my transparency. Because I really can't be no other person than who I am. And even if you try to be, guess what? It doesn't last long. You'll find yourself confused. You'll find yourself in a mess. You'll find yourself just carrying stuff that doesn't belong to you. So just be your true, authentic self with no apologies. Learn the lessons. Hey, as they say, learn the lesson, buy the shoes, and keep it moving. Don't worry about your past. If people want to stay there, let them stay there. You keep moving and be who you are. When they remember when, okay, I remember too, but guess what? This is where I am right now. You still over there? I'm going to let you stay there, because guess what? You're stuck. So let people remain stuck and you keep moving, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself being stuck with them. So don't let people change your perspective, your perception, or your projections of what it is that you are really working to do. I'm not saying, however, by any shape, form, or fashion that you shouldn't consider other perspectives, because that's going to broaden your perspective. And you want what you put out to be, to help shape their perception, but don't let it change you to the point where all you're considering is their perception, because your mission still won't be accomplished. But if you stand focused on your perspective and understanding, what it is you want people to perceive, then your projections are going to do that anyway. So I want to project that I'm here to empower you. I'm here to ignite you to think about, some things you may have let become dormant or stagnant, or you put on the shelf and then pick it up. Hey, go dust it off, pick it up, put the shine back on it, and keep it moving. Because that's your goal, that's your vision, that's your mission, that's your passion, that's your gift. And you're going to find that your gift will make room for you. It's going to open doors for you. And then you begin to project. I want to project positivity. I don't care if people saying she over positive or she talk about God too much. I'd rather you say that than, oh, she always complaining. Oh, she always nagging. But guess what? That's that person's perspective. And that's their energy that's negative. It needs to be changed. But people need positivity in this world. It's enough chaos around us anyway. But my whole goal, too, is to just get you to understand, shake yourself loose of the things that keep you bound. I've been there, done that, but I'm on this road to freedom. And freedom ain't free, but I refuse. I tell myself every day, I refuse to return to bondage. You better not go back to the place that keep you bound, because it is not a place of freedom. There's no flexibility in bondage. There's no happiness in bondage. Not even don't even let yourself be bound to yourself, your own thoughts, your limited beliefs, what people think. But what I was taught, what I was told, that was all a part of your perception. But when we go to college, you meet more people, new people, you understand life and lifestyles and other people's, cultures. That's changing your perception and your perspective, because you've been exposed. So be exposed to new things, new people, new places. Don't shun it. Don't shrink because to make other people feel good. Keep shining. Go forth, go forth. I'm Tara Nicole, here to empower, ignite, and uplift. I hope you have a little more insight and a better understanding about the 3 P's: perception, perspective, and projection. Go within, make your changes, be led by what God is telling you to do and what your instincts and what your gut says. But otherwise, let people be people. Don't let them stop you. Don't let them influence you. Don't let them change you. Don't let them, you know who you are. And you be that with no apologies, authentically, walking tall, head high. Do it. And just be you. Forget everything else. Because when you being you, there's no room for misinterpretation. And what's for you is for you. And who's for you is for you. So remember that. I'm Tara Nicole, here to empower, ignite, and uplift. Thank you for joining me a day earlier. I will be back on my regular schedule on Thursday next week. And these Let's Get Hot mugs will be available soon in the journal. Because you know what? As long as you're getting hot, honest, open, transparent, there's no room for misinterpretation. There's no room for you to not be focused and not stay the course. But just being hot, man, you know what? You just saying, this is some foolishness and I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to do it. Or, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. This is how I want my life to be. All of that is a part of Let's Getting Hot. Honest, open, and transparent. And when you do that, you'll find that you're going to make room. You're going to get rid of that doesn't belong to you and doesn't serve you and doesn't take you where you want to go. But you also make a room for those things that will serve you, that will help you, that will strengthen you and help you get where you want to go. So on that note, I hope you have a great rest of your week. It's hump day, tomorrow's Thursday, almost the weekend. Be blessed, be intentional, stay focused, stay the course, do whatever you got to do to keep your vibrations high, your momentum going. Stay away from negative people, energy drainers. Surround yourself with people who are going to help you do what you want to do. Be mindful of what you're listening to, what you're saying to yourself, what you let people say to you, what you watch, what you listen to. I'm not saying be so heavenly bound, earthly good. But what I am saying is, if you want to keep yourself in a certain space, in a certain place, you need to be around things that match that. All right? So, I'm going to go. I will talk to you soon. If you didn't see my Testimony Tuesday that I posted on yesterday, go check it out. Again, another testament of what staying focused and staying the course is really all about. Don't worry about people, what they do and say. As I posted earlier somewhere else, don't worry about it. God will defend you. He will not let the truth go undefended. He got you. Trust him. Trust his plan. Trust your journey. Stay focused, stay the course, and walk this thing out. Peace.